I'm Morey White.
I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Church Conversation Podcast.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
All right, guys, let's talk. We want to talk some stuff about what we've been teaching on Sunday. You guys have some questions about some stuff, things you've heard, things you've been thinking. Let's just get right to it. What's cooking? Or are you? Have you had enough to eat, Tracey?
I've had plenty to eat, yeah. So Kathy brought me some Wendy's, and that was, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, I hadn't had dinner yet, and I just smelled your food coming through.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. I know it's needed offering to anybody, but...
You know what? I just assumed,
I didn't want to take a bite
night,
after you had a bite of your burger. All right.
It's probably safe the way you're feeling. Are you all right?
I am. Yes, I have a funny voice. That's right, because I am slightly... I'm not really sick, but I woke up last night and I didn't wake up last night. It was getting really, really late in the night. And I started coughing, and it was that kind of cough where you feel it like in your chest, and then it's like a knife in your throat. And then I was talking like Barry White, so I'm like your brother.
I'm Morey White, that's Tracey White, and Barry White.
Yay. Let's talk about love.
Love. Actually, we've been kind of talking about that at church. We've been talking about a lot of different things, but mainly about what we represent at the church, what we're all about, what our mission is, what our goals are.
Yeah.
So more,
stronger,
yeah, and closer. Those are the three things that we've been talking about. Maybe we should dive into that a little bit and talk a little bit about those things. What do you think?
I can give you a quick summary.
Give me a summary.
Quick summary. All right. Compass Church. We always say Compass Church is all about following Jesus.
Yes.
He is our compass. And as we follow Jesus, He invites us to a life that takes us outside of ourselves, and we join Him in mission. So He says, follow me, and I'll make you to fish for people, right? So that's our first thing, passionately following Jesus, and then leading everyone into a passionate life of Christ. And then we want to do that by developing more, stronger, and closer followers of Christ. So more, you guys tell me, what is that about? Do you know? What do I mean when I say we want to develop more followers of Jesus Christ?
Well, by sharing the word, the gospel with people, hoping to... I think it's more than just a single answer. I mean, obviously we want to grow our congregation, but I mean, it's not just about that. It's just bringing more people to Christ.
Yeah,
more people.
Yeah, don't feel on the spot. I mean, you're not graded today.
I'm not. Man.
that you know. I'm secretly, silently grading you off.
Okay, thanks.
Have you been paying attention, brother? I saw you nodding off the other day.
Oh, man. That's not cool.
Was that while I was playing the drums? Or?
That's just while you were playing the drums.
You guys know I'm in the room still, right?
Oh. Look, your sermons are not that boring.
Oh, man. See, that's not going to help anything, Tracy. Hey, I can't wait to go.
And so, look, and I've told you this before, Johnny, what I really appreciate about your messages is that they're you connect with people easily, and I think that the way that you communicate is kind of easily accessible by lifelong Christians like myself, or maybe somebody that's just trying to get to know what it's about or coming to know Christ. I think you really have a knack for connecting with people that way.
Awesome. Thank you, man. That's very nice.
That brings up something from Sunday. I know that you were doing your military thing, but Johnny shared a story about talking with someone. And the question that the person came up and asked was, who is Jesus?
Yeah.
and I got to thinking about that, and I think about, as a lifelong Christian, we talked about that, being that we're preachers' kids,
Yep.
And having been in the Word since little bitty, there are a lot of people who don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just who Jesus is, but what he represents and what he did.
Yeah.
And to us, we take it for granted, I think, a lot, that because that was ingrained in us at an early age, and we just know that.
Mm-hmm.
To those people, you say the word Zacchaeus, and they have no idea who that is.
Right.
He was a wee little man, by the way.
A wee little man was he. A very wee little man.
Wee little man.
Zacchaeus he was. Oh, man.
So,
Well, yeah.
it's very interesting, and I think that's really important, especially talking about more.
Yeah.
As we go out and share the gospel and the words of Jesus Christ and his message and the things that he did and his love, there is going to be a lot of those that don't even know the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially here in Aurora and the Denver metro area. I think it's becoming more and more the case across the nation, across the United States. But it's definitely the case here in Denver metro. There are people, to explain, the person that he was talking about, Morey was mentioning, literally asked me that question. They'd gone to something, they'd heard them singing to God, and then they were talking about Jesus, and they said, well, so I get the God thing, but I mean, who is Jesus? I mean, why him? They didn't make the connection, and I tried to explain, of course, who Jesus was. He was more than a prophet and all of that. But yeah, it's a great reminder. So, more.
A prophet plus.
A prophet plus. Prophet extra. No, that's not right. Not
It's
extra.
the real deal, man.
The real deal. Anyway, so we were saying, so we want to develop more, and that just means we're always thinking like that, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to translate it a little bit so that anybody that comes to Compass, we want to try and remove as many barriers to understanding as we can. So I will talk about deep things, right? Deep Bible things, but try to get it to where everybody in the room, at least try to, and I don't always get that right, but that's the goal. We want to make it as clear as can. So if I say sanctification, which I rarely do, but if I were to say it is, it is.
But the Sanka.
There's no caffeine in it, though, so it's not truly holy. No. Right, it's missing the power.
Actually, I was wondering, when we do our Sunday things, we have coffee there. Is that made with holy water?
No, it is not. It is not.
Okay.
It is made holy as you partake.
As you partake.
All right,
That's important to know.
Right, it is.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, thanks for that. That's very good. Anyway, yeah, so more, I want to reach more people. And then just really briefly, Stronger is not just about getting deeper in the Bible. It's about knowing the Word, and it's actually doing the Word. It's not either or. It's always about both, because you're not going to grow. You're not going to grow strong. And that's where we parked a little bit Sunday. And then closer is closer to God and closer to each other.
Right.
So one is about worship and prayer and just acknowledging God's presence in our lives. And then closer to each other is that thing that so many people are missing, particularly in the Denver metro area, I think. Of what we would call, here's the church word, is fellowship. Or as we used to say in Deep East Texas, fellowship. We have a fellowship after church.
Fellowship.
That's all about food, isn't it?
It's about food. Yeah, and I always say, as you guys know, it's more fellowship of the ring is the idea. It's more of a, we're locking arms and we're doing some life together and becoming friends, but also we're on mission together.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so there's our summary. So did you guys what were some of the things that were rolling through your heads?
Well, whenever you talked about the stronger knowing and doing, it was something that we have talked about in our studies, is that a lot of people will do one or the other. They'll know everything that's in the Bible, but they don't practice it at all. You brought up an example ladies coming from church.
Oh, the Starbucks lady,
yeah.
Frappuccino lady.
Frappuccino.
Oh, we
all
haven't used
dressed
that in
up.
a while. That's right. Yeah.
Dressed up in their Sunday hats.
Sunday.
You
Wait a
know.
minute. Sunday hats.
Well, okay, I'm embellishing a little. Don't you like the Sunday hats?
I like it now. Who
I
wears
need to-
a Sunday hat anymore?
They do
It's all
now.
like baseball caps, right?
I need a. Yeah, that's right. I'm the only one that wears a Sunday hat from time to time.
But you know, and then they
Sunday
get up
hats.
there and they treat the barista, with great disrespect, or
Yeah.
show an example of impatience, or
Yeah.
instead of love.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side where everybody's where somebody's trying to do a bunch of good things and they have no idea why.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, or they're missing that connection with God.
Yep.
You know?
Well, the knowing but not doing, the word speaks specifically about that. It says it breeds arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Knowledge puffs up.
It does puff up.
It puffs us up. It's not a bad thing. We need it.
Yeah.
We need the knowledge. You got to know it before you can do it,
Right.
right?
That's right.
But yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and that's the challenge too. I think. I mean, and it's easy to be hard on people. Those Christians out there, they just they're not doing the word.
Oh, those Christians.
But but it's hard, right?
Yeah.
There are a couple of simple phrases in Scripture that are just kind of hard to do. It's like you know them, but to actually do them is kind of tricky, especially when you're in the middle of traffic or you got somebody at work that's really bugging
That's
you.
exactly right.
Yeah.
That extension of grace is really hard to do sometimes.
Especially in traffic.
Yeah, especially
in
that
traffic.
road rage really does hit hard. So yeah, sometimes. I don't really commute via my own personal vehicle much. I take RTD everywhere, right? So
Right.
The bus and train. Oh man, I'm telling you, you can definitely rage with RTD. So,
Oh, I have no doubt.
so what I find myself doing and trying to calm myself down is I'll just close my eyes and say, "Thank you, God, for this lesson in patience."
Oh,
That
see,
you give me
Oh,
every single
man.
day.
Every day.
that happened. Chris, who was visiting the past couple of Sundays,
Mm.
she started her morning at the school and said something that she was praying for patience. And I said, well, just remember, when you ask God to give you patience near the day, He's got to give you opportunities to exercise patience.
That's right.
So don't not pray for
Oh,
it.
okay. All right.
But how are you going to know if you have any patience if you don't have any?
Well, that's
I was
true.
telling
any
you
trying
that-
situations.
I was telling you the story that I kind of cracked myself up thinking about. When I was young, I prayed to be just half as good as Geddy Lee on bass guitar.
Half is good.
Half as good as Geddy Lee on bass guitar. And he said, God said, okay. So now that I'm older, we won't mention the age. Now that I'm older, I'm like, why am I not half as good as Geddy Lee? Did you practice?
Did you practice?
Oh, wait, was that part of it?
Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We got off track here somewhere.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good. What were we talking about?
No, that's a practice. Practice what you. That's the doing.
That's
right.
the
That's
doing.
the.
That's the
All right.
doing.
Full
Gotta
circle.
do it.
Brought it back.
Hey, thank you.
Yes. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm still kind of hawking up stuff. So.
All right, please don't die.
It's like every time I think, oh, I'm about to cough, I don't want to cough on Tracy, and then I'm like, oh, I can't. Into the cup. Ugh.
You want to switch?
It's coffee, after all.
See, if
Like
we
you
switch,
smell it.
then this camera right
You guys
here,
missed my great pun. Oh, right.
that won't be on you. So.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Coughing into my coffee.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
It wasn't funny.
Please don't do that. You can
No,
do this.
no,
You can
no
always
puns.
like bring your
That's
sweater.
right.
up.
that what you
don't
told me?
say to cough
Yeah.
into your sleeve.
The vampire?
Yep.
I got a little runny nose. It's starting to.
Yeah,
Did it happen that quick? I have a friend at
Yeah.
work right now who called me this morning. He was at home, and he just sounded like he was dead. He's got something.
yeah, this
there's
happened.
something going around.
I guess it's been coming on for a few days, but nothing like this. And it just, last night late, just hit me. Boom. So,
Yeah, you get a hint of it.
yeah.
Just a clue that it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, was there anything that, it seems like there was something Sunday, and I meant to bring my notes from Sunday with me, I just completely forgot. But I didn't memorize every bit. But there was something we were talking about. Yes. Growing stronger involves also, speaking of sanctification. Sanctification.
You got to grow a beard and then stroke the beard.
Yeah.
To be
Sanctification.
sanctified. No, growing is sanctification. That's a process of growing in holiness and just growing stronger, right? So part of that, and we're going to talk about this. No, we're not going to talk about this Sunday. This Sunday is Big Sunday.
It is Big Sunday.
That's-
The Big Sunday.
It's not next Sunday?
It's
After
bef-
Thanksgiving?
no, it's before
Thanksgiving, so it
Before
is this Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes, so we don't have to. We don't have a gate.
That's
back.
right.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so the Big Sunday, just a quick pause, that's our bigger Sunday. Big Sunday.
Big Sunday.
There's stuff on the website, check it out. No, like it.
A celebration service.
We bring in the drums,
We do.
we bring in the bass guitar,
We do.
we bring in the keyboard,
Yeah. And all the
sometimes
singers.
little guitar, and
yeah.
all the singers.
Julie.
We make some noise. Julie in the background yawning at us because we're boring her.
Are we that?
I forgot what I was saying.
This
what
is
were we
awesome.
talking about? Anyway,
Don't remember.
yeah, so Big Sunday. Oh, I'm not going to talk about Big
Yeah.
Sunday, but I will the following Sunday.
Okay.
And that is, that part of that is dealing with this word, this little three-letter word called sin. S-I-N, and always in the middle of sin is the I. I'm okay. I
Oh.
learned that in.
Are you going to draw that on the board?
I learned that in first grade.
Wow.
No, anyway, but how when he calls us to serve and to deal with our own sin and then to help reach others for Christ and things we've been talking about,
Right.
we don't need to see that as some big long list of do this, do this, do this, do this, and I will love you more, and there's no grace involved. And we went to the passage. This is bad. I can't. At the top of my head, I can't remember. Matthew, blah, blah, 11. Matthew 11, I think. Anyway, Jesus saying, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me,
Yes.
because my burden is light."
That's right.
That's right. And I am so butchering this in my paraphrase, but but I am humble and lowly in spirit. Anyway, the idea of the yoke. We were talking a little bit about
We
taking
were.
the yoke.
It kind of hit me really hard that he's talking about being yoked with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pair of oxen that share the load or the work. And, it's not, he's not saying, here, borrow my piece of equipment.
Right.
Right.
Here, you can take this piece of equipment. It's made out of this alloy that's really lightweight, so yeah, it's indestructible. No, he's saying, I'm going to share this with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you carry this. I'm going to help you do this. And that is a massive comfort.
Yeah, that is amazing too. I mean, and that whole idea that he doesn't tell us to take it and go, like you
Right,
said. Like,
right.
here's my piece of equipment. That's pretty good, Morey.
Here's my piece of equipment.
That was deep.
That's deep,
Was that
man.
deep?
Did you study for that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Are there cue cards somewhere that haven't been
Someone,
saved?
where are our notes?
Yeah, over there, bro.
Well, I mean, it's just, he doesn't tell us to just go do it and he'll get back with us. I mean,
Right,
we were
right.
talking, and you missed this, Tracy, sorry.
I
But
did. I'm sorry. I was
it's all good.
Yeah.
We're filling you in, sort of. Jesus' last, words to us before ascending into heaven, go therefore, make disciples of all nations, teaching them to observe everything that I've commanded of you. And then he says, and lo, remember, I am with you always, even to the end of the age.
Always.
And so even when he tells us to obey, when he tells us to serve, when he tells us to do all that thing, he's not telling us to go do it, come back and give us a report.
Right.
And he'll check it off whether we did it well or not.
Yeah.
He's saying, no, take my yoke. I'm doing this with you.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be with you as you do it. And that's light. It's not, it's like not obeying and not growing and not dealing with our sin is a bigger burden than actually giving it to him and simply obeying.
Right.
So even though you might encounter trials and difficulties and stuff in the process of obeying, it's still less of a burden than trying to do it on our own and trying to live life on our own. Even.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So I had the opportunity while talking to my son. To say, you're not alone, as he was describing the problems that he's facing. You know, he had some realizations, which are always wonderful when they have those realizations.
Yeah.
And
My voice is deep.
and to say,
I feel like I'm on a bass.
Pastor Barry White.
Yeah, awesome.
I wish it was like us all the time.
Johnny sing bass.
And furthermore, all right, go ahead. I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, so I was able to say, you're not alone, ever,
Yeah.
in everything that you go through. So that was really neat.
That was pretty good. And I gotta say that, though, one of the best lines that morning when I said something about a yoke, I said, do you guys know what a yoke is? And Taylor, your daughter, died.
Oh, I could.
Middle of an egg.
The middle of an egg.
Yeah.
That's a,
That's up there
that's
with
a
belly
yoke.
button.
Y-O-L-K.
It's up there with belly button land.
Right?
I know, that's what everybody's going to remember. Remember Julie's line about belly
Belly
button?
button land, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Taylor's line about a yoke in the middle of an egg. All right.
It was
All
a
right,
good
guys.
sermon, by the
How long
way.
are we talking?
I don't know.
Sunday?
How long are we talking?
I don't know. This is sort of the pilot, right? I mean, we're working
is.
out the kinks, but the idea of this, I think anyway, and you guys help me out, is to be able to just any kind of questions that come up, whether they came from Sunday or just during your week or something that happened. Pretty much anything is fair game, and then once we've posted to YouTube and stuff, inviting people to ask questions via comments and stuff.
Yes.
And then we'll follow those up in the weeks afterwards with some responses to those. And also, but generally, basically stuff that kind of comes out of the life of what we're doing as a church plant here in Aurora.
Yeah.
Is that right? So, pretty loosey-goosey.
Well, I'm excited that, that there again about you answering some of those questions, us dealing with some of the issues that do come up in life. I think it's important to understand, talking about fellowship, that this is part of it.
Yes,
And
it is.
discipleship, this is part of it. This is part of loving each other, growing together.
Yeah.
And this is what the church is truly about. It's not a building with a steeple, and a cross up front.
And a bunch of ritual stuff. And,
All right, and a
yeah.
bunch of ritual stuff. I know, Tracy and I grew up preachers' kids, and we, like a lot of people, have been hurt by church.
Yeah.
And it's never God that hurts us.
Right.
That's right.
And I think that's really
exactly
important to
right.
remember, that it is
Yeah.
people
In that way, he doesn't
that
hurt us.
hurt.
Right.
He hurts us in a surgical kind of way.
Well, sure. Well, that's the word that I would
different,
use, is that you get real convicted sometimes.
Yeah,
It's,
sometimes you get really convicted.
But exactly, back to what you were saying. You're right.
And we talked about the knowing and doing. Knowing and doing, that's something that we're focusing on with the balance of that, so that we don't become puffed up,
Yeah.
that we don't become ritualistic.
Yeah.
That being said, we want to
Have
pray
some
every
ritual,
night.
Right. So we want to have some ritual.
Pray.
Right. We
Yeah,
just don't
there's-
want it to become cold and dead. And
well, that's
lifeless.
true. But whenever I think of ritual, I think about something that's scripted. And we've been talking about prayer for how long, Johnny? It's been
Do you really want to know?
really long time.
2 months, 3 months.
I mean, no.
Well, but we, in fairness, we're on it and then we leave it and come back to it.
Well, sure,
We do.
sure, but there's that's been kind of stressed and the importance of it, and then we've actually been assigned some exercises, right?
Yes.
In our praying life,
right,
our
yeah.
prayer life, and I think that's a really important thing. Let me tell you that the stuff that we talked about, the Acts thing,
Yes, adoration, confession,
yeah.
Thanksgiving, seeking for others,
Yes.
seeking for self.
Yep, that is really cool because and again, when I think ritual, I think something that's scripted, and I don't want to I'm not going to go down that road, but
Tradition.
tradition where you say the same thing.
Where it becomes
whatever.
doctrine.
Repetition.
Yeah,
almost, you know.
but so whenever you think about it, that way, and exercise on a daily basis, multiple times a day, the different types of prayers that we've been talking about, the focus prayer, the help me prayer,
yes.
All that kind of stuff.
Maybe we should
The
in
continuous-
a future episode go
Yeah,
through
we
to
should
that.
do that because I think that's really valuable because I think a lot of people really need to understand that prayer, it is that I mean that's your connection, your personal connection and your lifeline and all that. So how we approach God, let's talk about that next time.
Yes, that's a good idea. I think we will. How long are we at now?
I don't know.
Yeah, a while.
Anyone? Timer?
It's the pilot.
Anyone?
The secret producer of the show, who's not the producer of the show.
I bet you it's on a little timestamp over there on the monitor.
Hold on a second. Let me look at
Well, hey,
that.
thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, we're at 26 minutes.
For 26 minutes?
Oh, for 26 minutes.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
No.
Not for our first little pilot trial deal. Well, you guys want to wrap this up now real quick? Because we've set it up, I think. Unless you guys want to hit something else.
No,
Another big question? Or
I think we're good for today.
all right,
You're
gives us some
all right.
stuff to chew on. Kind of sets the parameters for what we're going to do, the weeks coming up. Do want to say thank you for watching, listening. If you're listening to the audio, thanks for doing that. We meet every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at Arkansas Elementary School in Aurora, Colorado. So if you live in the area, you want to join us, be sure to check out the website. It's compassdenver.com. And you can see the various environments that we meet in from week to week. But anyway, thanks for joining us. You guys have any final words?
Nope. Thank you very much.
Peace!
Peace. Peace, love. Peace, love to you. God bless you guys. Thanks for listening, and we're out.
I'm Morey White.
I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Church Conversation Podcast.
We will follow you.
I didn't. Let's start that over again. Shut up.
All right. Here we go.